Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome back to In the Trenches with Dr. Tammy. I am so excited for you to tune in today. We're going to be doing another Fire Take Friday. And if you don't remember how that works, it simply goes a little bit like this. I will read to you all something I either saw on social media or someone shared with me, and I will give you my instant opinion or take on it, whichever one you want to call it, but that's how it's going to work. Now, before we get started, I want to thank the men this time around because I actually have a couple that was sent to me by the men, and that's exciting because that says that they too are interested in hearing what we have to say, we either being myself or other women or even other men with their take on relationships, life, challenges, or whatever it is that there may be. Now, I will warn you that there might be one in here that's a little risque. We'll see if we get to that one today. But let's get right to it. All right. Number one, I pay attention to actions, not words. I heard what you said, but I see how you act. Actions must support words. Now, yes, I kind of sort of rolled my eyes a little bit, so please forgive Dr. Tammy. So here's my take on that. If you've been following me for any time at all, you already know that I believe that when someone tells you something and their actions do not support it, that is problematic. They should be, in my opinion, one and the same, because aren't you expecting them to do what they've said they're going to do? For example, if someone promises you something and say it's going to happen, within the next 3 weeks, or I promise you I am going to do such and such next Friday, and next Friday comes around or the next 3 weeks shows up, whichever one they said, and it doesn't happen, kind of makes you feel a way about it. And I know that's a simplistic way of looking at it. So let me say this, because I have some folks who've asked me, well, how does that apply to relationships? Same thing. And dating, same thing. If someone says to you that they want to be in a relationship with you, yet they're making absolutely no effort to do so, those actions are not supporting the words. So you may want to think about whether or not they're truly interested in a relationship with you. Or, as I've been asked before, are they simply interested in the idea of you? That is a decision that you will have to make. But my first thought is, if the actions do not support the words, you may want to consider whatever it is that was promised to you, whether it's dating, a relationship, or just a favor of sorts. You may want to consider whether or not that person is actually trustworthy in doing anything with them, professionally or personally. So think about that as you go about your daily goings on. Number two, when you do right by people, God takes care of you and everything attached to you. Okay, now y'all already know that I am a believer. There is nothing that you or anyone else can say to me that says that God won't take care of me and everybody else. So in my personal life, God has taken very good care of me. You all know that I'm single. You all know that I own a home. And I basically am a new entrepreneur. I stepped out there on faith, and I couldn't have done that without believing that God is going to take care of not only me, but everything attached to me. I am not going to want for anything because I stand in my belief that God has me covered. So my first take on that is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Everything I touch and you touch, if you are a believer, will be absolutely amazing. Number 3. This one tickled me a little bit. I hope I marry a quiet, soft, kind, 6 foot tall, bearded man who says yes to what I want. Now, on these Fire Take Fridays, y'all, some of these are going to be kind of jovial. Some of these are probably going to tickle you maybe as much as they tickle me. But I am sharing them because, honestly, people are sharing with me what they want. I've even had people say, hey, I have been very specific when I speak to God about the things that I would like to have in my mate. So while this did tickle me, I would say that I kind of understand the request, but I think we should add some other things like character, honesty, trustworthiness, those kinds of things to it. Does he absolutely have to be 6 feet tall? Could it be 5 feet, 11 and a half inches? I don't know. But so many of us have an idea in our heads of what it is that we think we want in our mate. I ask that you add some of those things that are extremely important, like the character of the person, whether or not they can support you when you need supporting. Will they be in your corner when it's needed? Can they have conversations with you? Can there be times in which you disagree, yet it doesn't lead to an argument? It leads to conversations where you come to a resolution or at least an understanding of what the other person is saying. Now, because I also have an idea of what my mate should look like or what I would like for him to look like, this tickles me because I thought, did they read my mind? But for me, a goatee is just as fine as a beard. So while I'm saying these things to you, yes, look at the seriousness of the things that you desire in your mate. But it's okay to have an idea of some other things that you might think. No judgment zone here. I promise this zone is judgment free. So do whatever you think you need for you, but keep in mind the more serious things that are needed to go with that man that you have described. Number 4, I overthink because I overlove and I overcare. Now, this one hit home because if you follow me on any of the social media platforms, if you have been watching the podcast, then you already know that Dr. Tammy is an overthinker. I also overcare, probably overlove as well, because as I've described to you before, I am an empath and I carry the feelings of others very deeply. And they bother me even sometimes into the wee hours of the night with people I don't even really know, but I am problem solving in my head for them. If they were to need me for any single thing, that is who it is that I am. So yes, this is probably pretty true. Number 5, a real man knows if a woman is wife material within the first 6 months. Now I'm going to say this. I'm not exactly sure what is intended by the term real man. So I can't speak on that. But I will say that a man who sees you for who you are really won't take years and years and years and years to determine if you're the person for them, because just like you, they have an idea in their heads of who it is that they would like for their mate to be. And if you possess almost all of those desires, then he more than likely will not waste an extended amount of time in making sure that you are aware that you are the one. Number 6, love didn't hurt you. Someone who didn't know how to love you did. Do not confuse the two. So this one hit home because I'm going to have to agree with that. Love shouldn't hurt and doesn't hurt, actually. It is the person who did not have the capacity to love you that hurt you. He or she was not readily available to love you in the way that you need to be loved. Because if you've heard me say before, we all need to be loved in our own love language, not the love language of the person who says that they love us or is trying to love us. And I use the word trying because there are times when people are unsure if they're in love. And it takes them a moment to recognize that. Because honestly, there are people out here who are running from the idea of loving someone else because they have been hurt. So, again, yes, the person more than likely did not possess the capacity to love you. It was not love that hurt you. It was the actual person. Now, this one I like a lot. It's kind of long, and it was submitted by a man. And this is what he had to say. If it's not us against the world, you can keep it. I don't want transactional love, or I love you when it's convenient. I don't want a sometime love or anything outside of us that can easily affect us. We have to move with us in mind, or I don't want it or any part of it. I'm going to try to keep this brief because there's a lot to unpack there. But I will have to say that I agree with this gentleman. I agree with the fact that he is very sure that the kind of love he wants is the kind of love in which the two of you, and you know, you've heard me say this before, the two of you are in it. It is not a community project. It does not matter what anybody outside of the two of you have to say. If it is working for you, then that is what matters. And I understand not wanting transactional love or someone who says they love you today, but tomorrow they don't act like it. They may show feelings for you when it's convenient for them. I understand that. I wouldn't want that either. So for this gentleman to be very specific about what it is that he wants, hats off to you, sir. Hats off to you, because that allows you not to spend any time in situations or with people who aren't going to bring those things into the relationship or even into the dating before you get to the committed relationship part. Have those conversations up front. We've talked about this before. You must start from the very beginning with those courageous conversations. And I know that'll run some people off, but guess what? That is okay, because that means that wasn't your person. It leaves space for the person who really is your person. So again, hats off to this gentleman for saying, I know what I want. I won't take anything less. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Also, another one written by a man. Love this one. When life knocks you down, make sure you have a woman who lifts you up when it feels like the world is against you. Beside every strong man is a strong woman. This one, wow, let me just say this. I have to say it because right now, and not even just right now, but as a Black woman out here hoping to date, I want my person to know that I am going to be by his side. I am not going to run when things get a little rough or there might be a little struggle. Because what I'm hearing people say so many times is that the first moment of something that's not even a red flag, because so many people use the term red flags, a person is being vulnerable with you and honest, and you run immediately, or life throws a curveball at them that they were not expecting, and they come to you with that information, and you're out there. That is not what true companionship is about. If you're going to be dating and you're going to be in a committed relationship, then you should be beside them even when things are rough, because wouldn't you want the same? So I'm with him. When life knocks you down, you need to stand beside him. And dear Black man, we know that life has been throwing some curveballs at you for a countless number of years. But there are some of us out here who will stand beside you. Don't worry about that. We'll stand beside you. Number 9, everyone wants something real until they meet someone whose real standards challenge them to be real consistent, real considerate, and real committed. Woo, this one took me a second. I agree. I absolutely agree. Everybody says they want somebody real. Everybody says they want a relationship that's real. And I know I'm using a general term when I use the word everyone and everybody. But I'm going to say that applies to the people who speak to me about wanting to date and wanting to be in relationships. These people are the everyone and the everybody that I'm speaking of. They all say they want something real. But the moment the person that they're dating or in a excuse me, y'all, I'm getting so tongue-tied because I'm so passionate about this one, so bear with me. The moment someone says, hey, I didn't really like that, or let's talk about the conversation we had yesterday, or let's talk about when we were out, how I felt uncomfortable. Those are some standards, or even just things that we were saying, hey, let's be honest with each other about some things. And hey, you said we were in this just the two of us, but I saw you over there with such and such, or you seem kind of into this one or that one. So it's confusing. And having those courageous conversations are important, because you have to make sure that your person, that you all on the same page. So that goes back to the real consistent. Do you show up for them? Are you there like you say you would be? Are you real committed to just the two of you? Or are you seeking other opportunities? Let me tell you, these real standards are real. And if you're not ready for those things, then I would more than likely say that you're not ready for the things that you often come to me to talk about or to ask questions about. You need to reconsider if you are truly ready for something real. Number 10. Now listen, before I say it, this is one of those kind of risque ones, so bear with me. If she is 30 to 55 years old, don't waste her time. She's trying to be in love. get married, have nasty sex, lose pounds, and take a few trips. She ain't got time to play with you. Now, while it's kind of funny, it can be kind of true because, as you all know, I'm in my 50s. I'm going to be 55 in July, and I am not ashamed to say it. However, I understand the concept here. I understand what they're saying, that when you know what you want, when you know what you desire, you really don't want to waste time. And you do want to do all of those things that I read to you with the one person. You don't really want to be out here having to start over, having to tell all your favorite colors or your favorite foods and getting to know someone over and over again. You do want to be able to just say, hey, look at God. My person showed up. We're locked in. We're good. So I get it. It's funny, but for many of us, it's a true concept. So thanks for listening and playing along with me on that one. But it's true. 11. Money does not impress me. I will ride with you and for you, even if you're broke. Finances change often. It is about the loyalty and the love for me. Y'all already know my answer to this one. Money doesn't move me. I am much more interested in your character, whether or not you have a vision. Because guess what? As you've heard me say so many times before, we'll get to the money. We'll get to the money. What's your work ethic like? Do you have a dream? How can I support it? Let's get there together. Number 12, you deserve someone who is thinking ahead and building a future with you, not just living in the moment. Okay, so I understand what they're saying. They want a person who, when you are in a committed relationship with them, your partner, whether it's a male or a female, man or woman, or whatever we want to say, that they're thinking ahead about your future together. And if it is a man, we definitely want to know that you're thinking ahead. And I'm sorry, man, I know I said that like that, but so many of the women out here are looking for that because it's very difficult to find at times. We know it exists, but again, your person should be thinking ahead about how they're building a future with you. 13, I want a man with a vision who will lead me, but I can't be quiet and listen. Now, come on, ladies. He cannot lead you if you're not going to listen. His vision can be big enough for the both of you, but if you're not actually going to receive it and try to hear it and listen, how's he going to lead? Now, I'm not saying be quiet and never have an opinion. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying to you, if you are asking for your man to lead you, then you need to be listening. And when he's talking to you and you're talking back to him, receive what he's saying. Give your input, absolutely. But don't ask for a leader if you're not ready for him to lead. 14, I need one of those long hugs that makes you forget everything happening around you for a while. Now listen, y'all must have known about my week because right now, today, a sister could use one of those hugs. Just one of those hugs where you can just rest your head on their shoulder or on their chest and know that everything in the world is all right. So absolutely, those are the absolute best hugs. So if you're out there and you're a hugger that can give that type of hug to your person when you know they need it, give it to them. 15. I wrote this one. Dear Black man, I love you. You are worthy. You are appreciated. And an unwavering example of greatness. Much love. This is just a reminder to each of you that no matter what this world presents you with or tries to count you out on, or the odds that you're facing, you are greatly appreciated. You are loved. And don't you ever, and I mean ever, forget it. Our very last Fire Take Friday, number 16, also written by me. If they show up for you, it's not to make you love them. It's so you know that they love you. I challenge you to receive love when given. Y'all are out here overlooking genuinely solid people. Let love win. You know how I feel about this, y'all. I'm going to end by sharing that we know that there is a shortage of people out here who truly, truly care for you and love you despite any chaos going on in your life, despite any financial struggles that you might be having, despite any hurt that has caused you to guard your heart over the years. Despite any struggles that may be going on, there are people out here who have decided to care for you and love you. Y'all stop pushing those people away. You know how I feel about this. Stop pushing them away. Let them love you. Be open, be open, be open to love. I'm challenging you. You know I do this all the time. I challenge you to get out of your own way. Goes back to what I said earlier today. You say you want something real, but when real shows up, you're pushing it away. Stop that. I say stop it. I say stop it. I say stop it. Embrace it. I know you might be afraid. But remember that this person isn't the last person. The person that hurt you before them, they are not them. They can understand what you're going through. They can even support you. They can uplift you. And let me say something that y'all keep forgetting. They can pray for you. They can pray for you. So again, I challenge you to be open. Be open to receive love. Y'all let love win. Let love win. As you see over there, I still have my book available, A Brown-Skinned Girl Like Me. You may contact me at drtammy70@gmail.com if you are interested in the book. My favorite water is still always here. If you're parched, runneth water. Now, let me say this before we end. I hope you enjoyed today's Friar Take Friday. Look forward to many more to come. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let love win, good people. Let love win. Much love.